things to your life for years. Commitments, relationships, habits, possessions, subscriptions, stories about who you are. Each one looked manageable when you took it on. Together, they've become a load you've been quietly hauling around, draining your energy in ways you've stopped noticing. And here's the truth. The next stage of your life isn't going to be reached through more adding. It's going to be reached through subtracting, through deliberately cutting what doesn't belong anymore, so that what does belong has room to breathe. Most adults never do this work. They keep accumulating until they collapse under the weight. The wise ones periodically cut. You see, your life has grown crowded. There are things in it that served you once and no longer do. There are people you've kept close out of habit, not out of fit. There are expenses you forgot you signed up for. There are stories about who you are that haven't been true for years. You cannot keep accumulating without subtracting. The crowding is what's making everything feel heavy. And the lightness you've been wanting comes from cutting, not from adding one more thing. Listen, today I want to walk you through 9 things you must cut from your life this year. Not gradually, not eventually. This year. Because this is the year you decide what gets to stay and what doesn't. And the cutting, once you start, produces an effect you've forgotten was possible. Your life becoming lighter, your energy returning, your direction sharpening, all because you finally let go of what you'd been carrying that no longer needed to be carried. By the end of this, you'll have a clear list. Things to cut. Specific, not abstract. And the year ahead becomes the year of the great subtraction. The year your life gets meaningfully lighter because you finally did the work of removing what shouldn't have been there anymore. Now, before we get into the 9 things, you have to understand what the accumulated load is actually costing you. Because most people, when they're carrying too much, don't know they're carrying too much. They've adjusted to the weight. They've forgotten what lighter feels like. They think the heaviness is just what adult life is supposed to feel like. Here's the truth. The heaviness is not normal. The heaviness is a signal that you've been adding without subtracting for too long. Every healthy life has a rhythm of taking on and letting go. When the taking on continues without the letting go, the life gets crowded. The crowded life produces the exhaustion you've been feeling, and the exhaustion gets blamed on other things, your job, your age, your circumstances, when the actual cause is the load itself. You see, the things you've accumulated have a daily energy cost. Every single day, every commitment you're maintaining requires some of your attention. Every relationship you're keeping requires some of your bandwidth. Every subscription you're paying for requires some of your money. Every story about yourself you're maintaining requires some of your mental energy. Each item on its own looks small. Together, they eat most of your daily resources before you've gotten to anything that actually matters to you. And here's what most people don't see. The accumulated load is what's preventing the new things from arriving. The new opportunities, the new relationships, the new directions, they cannot fit into a life that's already full. There's no room. The room would have to be created by removing what's already there. And the removing is the work most people never do, which is why most people's lives stay full of old stuff and short on new stuff. You must reckon with this clearly. The cost of carrying everything you've accumulated is not measured in any single item. It's measured in the energy you don't have, the opportunities that don't arrive, the lightness you can't feel, the new chapter that can't begin because the old chapter is still occupying all the space. Every year you avoid the subtraction work, the load grows, and the cost grows with it. Cutting things is going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to wonder if you're being too aggressive. Stay with it anyway. The discomfort of cutting is short. The relief afterward is permanent. And the version of your life that exists after the cuts is the version you've been quietly wanting for years without knowing how to get to it. The how is the cutting. Today, 9 specific things, all of them ready to be cut. This year, number 1, you must cut, or at least dramatically reduce contact with, the people in your life who consistently drain your energy. Not the people who go through hard times and need support. Not the people who occasionally need something from you. The people whose presence in your life on a regular basis leaves you depleted every single time. You see, every adult has somebody like this, sometimes more than one. They're not necessarily bad people. They might be old friends who have grown into a different relationship with their own life than the one you've grown into. They might be family members whose patterns drain you in ways nobody else's do. They might be colleagues you spend time with out of habit. The shape varies. The energy cost is consistent. Here's the truth. You can map this clearly if you look. You must make a list of the people who get regular time in your week. After each one, write down how you feel after spending time with them. Energized, neutral, depleted. The ones consistently in the depleted column are the ones you must cut or reduce significantly, because the time you give them is time taken from your one finite life. The cutting doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't have to confront anybody. You don't have to issue declarations. You just reduce the frequency. The weekly call becomes monthly. The monthly dinner becomes quarterly. The regular hang becomes occasional. The relationship doesn't end. It just takes less of your energy than it used to. And here's what happens. The energy that was being drained gets returned to you. You have more capacity for the relationships that energize you. You have more capacity for the work that matters. You have more capacity for the new people who will fit better than the old ones did. You can do this without guilt. Adults are allowed to choose how their finite weekly hours get distributed. The people who consistently drain you are not entitled to that time just because they had it last year. The reorganizing of your social weight is one of the cleanest acts of self-care available to you. Do it this year. Next. Cut your default yes, the reflexive agreement to every request that lands in front of you. Because most adults have a default yes that they don't even notice. Somebody asks, they say yes, they figure out how to fit it in later. The default yes is what's filling your calendar with obligations that don't actually serve you. You see, the default yes is a habit installed years ago, often in childhood, when saying yes was how you stayed in good standing with the adults around you. Then you grew up and the habit kept running. Now, every request that arrives gets the same automatic yes that your 8-year-old self would have given. The result is a calendar full of yeses that the adult version of you would never have chosen if you had paused to think. Here's the truth. The default yes has to be replaced with a default delay. Not a default no, a default delay. When somebody asks you for something, you do not answer immediately. You say, "Let me think about it and get back to you." That single phrase, used consistently, breaks the reflexive yes. The pause that follows lets the adult version of you decide whether this is something you actually want to take on. You cannot let every request through, and often in the pause, the answer becomes clearly no. The request that seemed reasonable in the moment turns out to be a low priority item that you'd have agreed to without thinking. The pause saved you from a yes you'd have regretted. You go back to the person with a clear no, polite but firm. They are usually fine. The world doesn't end. And your calendar stays clear of one more obligation that wouldn't have served you. You must install the default delay this year. Treat it as a discipline, not an exception. Every request gets the pause. Every pause produces a more deliberate answer. Over a year, the number of yeses you give drops dramatically. The number of low-quality obligations on your calendar drops dramatically. And the space that opens up gets filled with the work and the people that actually matter. Next, you got to go through every recurring expense in your life and cut the ones you don't actually use. Because most adults are paying for things every month that they signed up for once and have not actively used in months, sometimes years. The money keeps leaving the account. The value stopped showing up a long time ago. You see, recurring expenses have a hidden quality. They charge automatically. You don't see the charge most months. You forget you're paying for them. And so they continue year after year eating money you would never spend if you were making the decision fresh each month. Here's the truth. You must do the audit. It's simple. Pull up your last 3 months of statements. Find every recurring charge. For each one, ask, am I actively using this? Did this add value to my life last month? If the answer is no, you cancel it. Today. Not later. Today. Most people, when they do this audit, find 10 to 20 subscriptions or memberships they had forgotten about. Cable channels, memberships to organizations they don't visit, software they don't use, magazines they don't read, premium versions of things they barely use. The cumulative monthly cost is usually substantial. The cumulative annual cost is enough to fund a meaningful investment year after year that the no audit version of them would never have built. The fix is to audit once, cut what's not earning its place, and then install a quarterly review. Every 3 months, you look at your recurring expenses and reassess. Things that were earning their place last quarter might not be earning it this quarter. You cut them again. The quarterly discipline prevents the slow reaccumulation that would otherwise return your monthly outflow to where it was before. This is one of the easiest cuts on the list. It costs nothing. It takes one afternoon. It returns money to you every month for the rest of your life. The recurring charge you cancel today saves you money for as many years as you would have otherwise kept paying it. Multiply that by 10 or 20 subscriptions, and the savings become substantial. Do the audit this week. Next, you have to cut the stories you tell about who you are that aren't true anymore. Because most adults are operating with self-stories that were accurate at some point in their lives and are no longer accurate, and yet they keep telling them. To themselves, to other people. And the stories keep producing the behavior that the no longer true identity implies. You see, the self-stories you tell are powerful. They organize your behavior, your choices, your defaults. If you tell yourself you're not a morning person, you arrange your life around being a not morning person. If you tell yourself you're bad with money, you make decisions consistent with being bad with money. The story produces the behavior. The behavior confirms the story. The loop continues. Here's the truth. Many of those stories were true at the age you formed them and are no longer true now. You've grown, you've changed. The you of today is not the you of 15 years ago. But the stories from 15 years ago are still running, organizing the behavior of the present day you around an identity that has actually shifted. The cut is to identify the stories and stop telling them. You got to make a list of every "I am the kind of person who" statement you regularly make about yourself. Then ask of each one, is this still true? Is this who I actually am now? Or is this who I was a decade ago, still narrating my present-day life as if the old identity hadn't changed? The stories that aren't true anymore get cut. You stop saying them out loud. You stop saying them in your head. When the impulse to say one arises, you catch it, and you replace it with something more current. Not necessarily the opposite. Just something more honest about who you are now, instead of who you were then. Over a year of this work, the outdated self-stories quiet down. The behaviors they were producing change accordingly. The identity that emerges is closer to who you actually are now. And the life you're living starts to fit the current version of you, instead of being organized around a version that left a decade ago. Next, cut the activities you've been doing that look productive but produce nothing. Because every adult has a set of these. Activities that feel like work, look like work, fill the hours of work but produce no actual output. Reorganizing files, endless tweaking of plans that never get executed, updating systems that don't need updating. The activity feels responsible. The result is zero. You see, the productivity theater activities are dangerous because they replace real work without you noticing. You spend 3 hours organizing your notes. At the end of the 3 hours, your notes are organized, but nothing was created, sold, built, or moved. You spent the time. You produced nothing. And yet, because you were busy, you tell yourself you worked. Here's the truth. Most adults run several productivity theater activities daily, sometimes for hours each day. The cumulative loss over years is enormous. The hours that should have gone into real work, the calls, the creation, the building, went into activities that produced nothing but the feeling of having been busy. You got to identify them honestly. Make a list of how you spend your work hours. For each activity, ask what was produced, what moved forward as a result, what actually got created or delivered. The activities that produce nothing get cut from your daily flow. Not because they aren't real activities, because they aren't real work. This is going to feel uncomfortable. The productivity theater activities are comfortable, they're predictable, they give the feeling of accomplishment without the discomfort of real work, which always involves risk, exposure, and the possibility of producing something nobody likes. Cutting them means leaning into the harder, riskier activities that actually produce results. But here's what happens after you cut them. The hours that used to disappear into productivity theater get freed up. You have time for the real work that you've been complaining you don't have time for. And the real work, given the time it needs, starts producing the results you've been wanting. Not because you got more disciplined, because you stopped substituting comfortable busyness for uncomfortable production. The substitution was the problem all along. The cutting is the fix. Next, you got to cut your need to convince people who weren't going to be convinced. Because most adults spend a meaningful amount of their energy trying to bring people around to their point of view, their perspective, their choices. People who were never going to come around no matter what was said. You see, the people in your life have their own framing of reality. Some of them, no matter how much you explain, no matter how much evidence you present, no matter how reasonable you sound, are going to stick with the framing they came in with. You're not going to change their mind. The mind isn't open to being changed. And every single day, Every hour you spend trying is an hour subtracted from your one finite life. Here's the truth. Most arguments are not actually resolvable through more talking. Each side has their position. Each side has their evidence. Each side believes the other is wrong. And more talking does not produce convergence. It usually produces escalation, hardening, frustration. Both sides leave more entrenched than they came in. The cut is to stop trying. You state your position once, clearly. You hear the other person's position. You acknowledge that you disagree, and then you stop. You don't try to win the argument. You don't try to persuade. You don't try to make them see what you see. You let them have their view. You keep your view, and you both go on with your lives. This is going to feel like giving up. It isn't. It's recognizing that some conversations have a ceiling, and continuing past the ceiling produces only damage. The energy you used to spend on these conversations gets freed up. You have more energy for the people who are actually open to dialogue. You have more energy for the work you care about. The freed energy is substantial. This applies in family arguments, political conversations, professional disagreements, friendships where you've been trying to get the other person to see things differently. In every case, the cut is the same. State your view once. Acknowledge disagreement. Stop. Move on. The relationship survives much better when you stop trying to win the unwinnable, and your energy returns to you for the things that actually move. Next. You must cut every years-old grudge you've been carrying, because the grudges feel like protection, like maintaining your dignity, like making the other person pay. The truth is the opposite. The grudges are not protecting you. They are quietly costing you year after year in ways you've stopped seeing because the cost has been running so long. You see, every grudge you maintain takes a small amount of daily energy. The remembering, the justifying, the avoiding, the mental space the resentment occupies. None of it is large on a given day. Over years, the accumulated cost is enormous. And the cost is paid by you, not by the person you've been holding the grudge against. They usually don't even know. Let me tell you about a woman I once knew. She had been carrying a grudge against her sister for 15 years by the time we met. The two of them had once been close. Then something had happened during a particularly hard period in their lives. Words said in anger, hurt that was not properly addressed at the time. The woman had cut off contact. They saw each other at family events. They did not speak for 15 years. She had her reasons. The hurt had been real. The sister had said things that were hard to forgive. The woman had told herself year after year that her position was correct, that her boundary was justified, that she was protecting herself from somebody who had not earned her trust back. And then her sister died. Heart attack at 52, sudden, no warning. The woman found out by phone, mid-afternoon, on an ordinary Tuesday. She went to the funeral. She listened to the eulogies. She heard people talk about her sister in ways she had not heard for 15 years. She remembered who her sister had been. And sitting there with no possibility of any further conversation, she realized something that hit her hard. The grudge she had been protecting for 15 years had cost her one of the only people in the world who had actually known her whole life. The reasons for the grudge had been real. The cost of carrying it had been disproportionate. She had spent 15 years protecting her hurt instead of repairing the relationship. And now, repair was not possible. Her sister was gone. The last conversation they would ever have was the angry one, from a decade and a half before. She told me, months later, the grudge had felt like dignity, like protecting myself, like making her pay for what she had done. None of it was worth it. I would give anything for one more conversation. The thing I had been protecting for 15 years had cost me something that no protection was worth. You may have a grudge like that running in your life right now, maybe more than one. The reasons for them may be real. The cost of carrying them is almost always higher than the protection they provide. And the cost compounds every year you keep carrying them, while the protection provides almost nothing it didn't provide in the first year. Cut the grudges this year. Not by reconciling necessarily. Sometimes reconciliation isn't possible or wise, but by releasing the grip the grudge has on your daily mental space. The hurt may stay, the grip can let go. The release returns your energy to you. And the people you have grudges against, whether they ever know it or not, stop quietly costing you the daily attention you have been paying them for years. Next, you have to cut the hours you've been losing to passive watching. That adds nothing to your life. Because most adults spend a meaningful chunk of their daily life absorbing entertainment that produces no value, no learning, no improvement, just the passage of time in a comfortable, undemanding way. You see, the passive hours feel harmless. It feels relaxing. It feels like a reasonable way to recover from the demands of the day. And in small doses, it is. The problem is that it's almost never in small doses. It's hours, daily, for years. And the cumulative time lost is enormous, sometimes equivalent to a part-time job's worth of hours every single year, given to something that produced nothing. Here's the truth. Time is your one truly non-renewable resource. Money can be replaced. Energy can be restored. Time once spent is gone. And the hours you've been spending on passive watching are hours that could have gone into building something, a skill, a relationship, a project, a body of work, a quiet evening of reflection. Almost anything would have been a higher use of those hours than what you were doing with them. The cut doesn't have to be total. You don't have to never relax. But you cut the default mode, the automatic reaching for the same passive entertainment as soon as the workday ends. The hours of watching things you won't remember tomorrow. The mindless inputs that crowd out almost everything else from your evenings. You replace some of those hours with something active, reading, a project of your own, time with somebody you care about, going for a walk, working on a skill. The replacement doesn't have to be productive in a striving sense. It just has to be something that returns energy or builds capacity rather than just running out the clock. Over a year, the reclaimed hours add up to a meaningful body of work or learning. Over a decade, they add up to a life that's been built deliberately instead of one that was eaten by background noise. The cut is small. The compound effect on your life is enormous. Do it this year. Next. You must cut or finish the someday projects that have been sitting unfinished in your life for years. Because most adults are carrying a stable of half-started projects, books they're going to write, businesses they're going to start, courses they're going to take, skills they're going to learn, that have been sitting at 5% completion for so long that the carrying of them has become a quiet weight on the person's identity. You see, each unfinished project is a small open loop in your psyche. Every single day you remember it, you feel a small pang of guilt or unease. You meant to get back to it. You haven't. The unfinished status sits in the background, taking up some mental space, even when you're not actively thinking about it. Multiplied by a dozen unfinished projects, the cumulative drain is real. Here's the truth. You cannot finish most of them. Be honest about that. The version of you that started them was a different version with different priorities. The current version has different things to work on. And the carrying of the old unfinished projects is preventing you from fully committing to the new ones. Because some part of your attention is still split with the unfinished old ones. You got to do an honest inventory. List every someday project that's been sitting incomplete for more than a year. For each one, ask, am I actually going to finish this? Not in theory, in reality. Given my current life, my current priorities, my current bandwidth, is this project actually going to get done? For most of them, the honest answer is no. You're not going to write the book. You're not going to take the course. You're not going to learn the language. They sounded great when you started them. They no longer fit your current life. The cut in those cases is to formally release them, not with guilt, with acknowledgement. You started something, it no longer fits. You're releasing it from your list. The open loop closes. For the few projects that you actually are going to finish, you commit to a deadline this year. The remaining ones, you let go. Both moves free up the mental space the projects had been quietly occupying. And the freed space gets used for the work that's actually current. Listen. So here's what I want you to carry with you. 9 specific things to cut from your life this year. The energy-draining people you've been letting close. The default yes that fills your calendar with low-priority obligations. The recurring expenses that don't earn their place anymore. The self-stories that haven't been true for years. The productivity theater activities that look like work but produce nothing. The need to convince people who were never going to be convinced. The years-old grudges still costing you. The passive watching hours that add nothing. The someday projects sitting unfinished. Every single one of those is something you can begin cutting today with one small action. Not all 9 at once. Pick the one that hit hardest when you heard it. Start with that one. Cut it this month, then move to the next. By the end of the year, you'll have addressed most of the list, and your life will be measurably lighter by every metric that matters. Here's the truth. I am telling you. The lightness you've been wanting is on the other side of these cuts, not on the other side of more adding. The new thing you've been waiting for cannot fit into a life that's already full. Cut what's already there that no longer belongs, and the room opens up for what could come next. I am telling you, this is the most underrated kind of life work. Almost nobody does it. Almost everybody keeps accumulating year after year, decade after decade, until the load is crushing. The wise ones periodically do the great subtraction. They cut, they release, they lighten. And then they get to live the next chapter from a place of space, instead of from a place of accumulation. I am telling you, be one of the wise ones this year. Make it the year of the great subtraction. 9 cuts, one at a time, slowly, deliberately, with acknowledgement of what each thing once meant and clarity about why it no longer belongs. By the end of the year, every single day will feel lighter than the day before. You'll be lighter. By the start of next year, you'll have room for the new chapter that's been waiting on you to make room. The cutting is the work, the lightness is the result, and the rest of your life, lived from a lighter place, becomes possible in a way it could never have been from underneath the accumulated weight. is a type of value you've been giving away for years that you should have been charging for. Your time, your expertise, your advice, your attention, your skills, things other people would have paid for if you'd asked, that you've been handing out for free because giving felt right and asking for money felt wrong. And here's the truth. You've been telling yourself a story about why the giving was the right move. You were being generous. You were building goodwill. You were helping people who needed help. The story has been comfortable. It has also been quietly costing you the income, the respect, and the sense of self-worth that charging would have given you. You see, the people who built financially comfortable lives mostly figured out somewhere along the way that the things they had been giving away for free actually had value, and that charging for them wasn't a betrayal of generosity, but a recognition of reality. They stopped giving away the expertise. They started charging for it, and the moment they did, almost everything in their professional and financial life changed. The free giving pattern is one of the most common, most invisible, most quietly destructive habits among capable adults. Most of you have been running it for years without seeing what it's doing. You're known as helpful. You're known as generous. You're also broke or close to it, despite having skills people would have paid significantly for. Listen, today I want to walk you through 5 things you must understand about this. By the end, you'll see what you've been giving away. You'll see why charging is not a moral failure, but an act of self-respect. And you'll see exactly how to make the shift, starting this week from somebody who gives away their value to somebody who charges for it. This is going to be one of the most uncomfortable upgrades you ever make. It is also one of the highest return ones. The discomfort is brief. The income, the respect, the self-worth that come on the other side are permanent. Now, before we get into the 5 things, you must understand what the free giving pattern has been doing to you over the years. Because most people, when they think about generosity, don't see the cost. They think they're gaining karma, building relationships, being a good person. They aren't seeing the bill that has been quietly piling up. Here's the truth. The bill has 3 parts. The first is the lost income. Every single day, every hour of expertise you gave away was an hour you could have charged for. Multiplied over years, the lost income is substantial. It is the difference between the financial life you have and the financial life you could have built with the same exact skills, charged appropriately. The second part of the bill is the lost respect, because the people you give your expertise to for free, almost universally, value it less than they would have if they had paid. The free advice gets ignored. The free help gets forgotten. The free time gets taken for granted. You have trained the people in your life to view your expertise as a casual gift rather than a serious offering. And once that training is set, it is hard to undo. The third part of the bill, and this is the deepest one, is the lost sense of self-worth. Because every time you give away something valuable for free, you reinforce at some level the belief that what you have to offer isn't worth charging for. After enough years of that reinforcement, you start to believe it. Your skills feel less valuable to you than they actually are. You charge less when you do charge. You undersell yourself in negotiations. The internal sense of worth has been quietly worn down by the daily pattern of giving away. You see, the 3 parts of the bill, lost income, lost respect, lost self-worth, compound on each other. The lost income produces financial stress. The lost respect produces frustration. The lost self-worth produces hesitation around charging in the future. All of it together creates a person who is talented but undercompensated, helpful but undervalued, capable but quietly resentful of how often they are taken advantage of. You must take this seriously. The free-giving pattern isn't generosity. It's a habit that has been running on autopilot for so long that it feels like who you are. It isn't who you are. It's what you've been doing. And starting today, you can do something different. 5 things. All about reclaiming the value you have been giving away and starting to charge for it the way you should have been charging for it all along. The first thing you must understand is that your tendency to give away your expertise for free was installed early in your life and runs on autopilot now. You aren't making a fresh decision each time. You are running a program that was set up decades ago, often in childhood, that tells you to give before asking, to help before charging, to defer to other people's needs before asserting your own. You see, most people who give away their expertise grew up in households or schools or religious communities where giving was praised and charging was considered slightly suspect. They learned at age 8 or 12 or 16 that good people give and that asking for money was a little bit shameful, especially when the asking was for something intangible like advice or knowledge or attention. The lessons sank in deep, and it kept running into adult life, even when the contexts had completely changed. Here's the truth. The childhood program isn't appropriate for adult professional life. As a child, you didn't have valuable expertise. There was nothing to charge for. The giving was age appropriate. As an adult, you do have valuable expertise. The things you know, the skills you have, the experience you carry, these are real assets that have market value. And running the childhood give it all away program against adult assets produces the exact outcome you've been getting: chronically undercharged, chronically undervalued, chronically resentful underneath the smiling exterior. The fix begins with seeing the program, recognizing that the impulse to give for free isn't a sacred moral instinct, but a learned pattern from a different life stage. Once you see it as a pattern, you can interrupt it. You can pause before the automatic giving. You can ask, would I be running this program if I had grown up being taught to charge appropriately for what I offer? Often the answer is no. The giving you were about to do was the program running, not a deliberate choice. You must update the program. Replace the default give for free with a default ask whether to charge. Not aggressive, not greedy. Just a deliberate pause every time the giving impulse arises to consider whether this is a situation that warrants charging. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes a friend genuinely needs a favor, and you'd give it freely, whether you had been programmed to or not. But often you'll realize the giving was the default, not the choice. And the situation actually does warrant charging. You must install the pause. The pause is the entire technology. The pause breaks the automatic giving. The pause lets the adult version of you decide what's actually appropriate in this specific situation. And the adult version of you, given the chance to decide deliberately, charges far more often than the child version of you, running on autopilot, would ever have charged. The shift is not from generous to greedy. The shift is from automatic to deliberate. The deliberate version makes the choice that actually serves your adult life. The second thing, and this one is going to feel counterintuitive, is that giving your expertise away for free actually disrespects both the thing you're offering and the person you're offering it to. You may have thought free giving was respectful. It often isn't. The data on what happens to free advice, free help, free expertise is consistent and brutal. You see, when people get something for free, they value it less. This is a well-documented psychological phenomenon. The same advice given for free versus charged for produces dramatically different outcomes in terms of how much it gets implemented. Free advice tends to be heard, nodded at, and forgotten. Paid advice tends to be heard, considered, and acted on. The price isn't just compensation for the giver. It's part of what makes the receiver take the thing seriously. And here's the truth. When you give away your expertise for free, you are quietly telling the receiver, this is not very valuable. The signal is unintentional, but unmistakable. If it were valuable, you'd have charged for it. So they take it as casual input rather than as serious counsel. They don't implement it, they don't remember it, they don't change anything based on it. The free advice goes in one ear and out the other, and the giver gets to feel generous while having actually contributed nothing to the receiver's life. The respectful move, in many cases, is to charge. The charging communicates, this is worth something. Take it seriously, implement it, make the investment worthwhile. The receiver, having paid, is more likely to actually use what they got. The transaction produces a meaningful outcome instead of a generous feeling, but ultimately empty exchange. You must internalize this. Charging is not the absence of generosity. Charging is the form generosity sometimes has to take in order to actually serve the receiver. The genuinely generous act in many cases is to charge enough that the receiver values what they're getting. The genuinely selfish act in many cases is to give for free, because the giver gets to feel virtuous while the receiver gets nothing of lasting value. This reframe will take time to fully integrate. You've been operating with the opposite framing for years. The opposite framing, free is generous, charging is selfish, is so culturally pervasive that you might have to remind yourself daily that the framing is wrong. The data does not support it. The lived experience does not support it. The free advice you have given over the years was mostly ignored. The few times you charged, the advice probably got implemented. The pattern repeats across millions of similar transactions. You got to let go of the idea that charging is somehow morally inferior to giving. It isn't. In many cases, charging is the more respectful, more generous, more useful move. The shift is hard because the cultural conditioning runs deep. But once the shift is made, you'll see almost immediately that the people who pay you for your expertise actually do something with it, while the people who got it for free year after year mostly never did. The third thing is that charging functions as a signal, both outward to the people you charge and inward to yourself. And the signal it sends is what produces the cascade of effects that make charging so transformative when somebody finally starts doing it. You see, when you put a price on what you offer, several things happen at once. The receiver gets the signal that this is something serious. The market gets the signal that you've crossed into the camp of people who charge for their work. Your own brain gets the signal that what you offer is valuable enough to charge for. All three signals work together to reshape your professional identity almost overnight. Here's the truth. The third signal to yourself is the most important one, because what you charge for, you respect. What you give away, you treat as marginal. The price is what makes the thing feel real to you. And until the thing feels real to you, you can't fully commit to building it, refining it, marketing it, defending it. The price creates the conditions for serious work. This is why so many people who finally start charging report a strange psychological shift that goes beyond just the financial impact. They feel different about what they do. They take it more seriously. They invest in it more deliberately. They protect their time around it more carefully. None of those shifts were possible while the thing was free, because the free thing didn't require any of that seriousness from them. And the outward signal matters too. The people who pay you treat you as a professional. They book proper time. They prepare for the sessions. They follow up. They implement what you suggested. They refer other people to you who also pay. The whole ecosystem around your work upgrades, simply because you've put a price tag on what you do. The people you don't charge, friends, family members, casual acquaintances who used to get your expertise for free, they're a separate question. You don't have to start charging your closest friends. But the people who aren't your closest friends, who have been benefiting from your expertise without any reciprocity, those people you can start charging. And the charging will sort the relationship into the ones that were real and the ones that were quietly exploitative. You must let the sorting happen. You gotta let the sorting happen. Some people will keep coming, will pay, will value what they get. Some people will fade away. The ones who fade were getting free value from you under the cover of friendship or collegiality. They are not your friends. They are casual exploiters. Their fading is not a loss to you. It is information. And the energy you use to spend on them gets redirected toward people who are actually willing to engage in mutual exchange. This sorting is one of the biggest unspoken benefits of charging. The free giving was attracting and rewarding the wrong people. The charging attracts and rewards the right people. Your professional and personal life gets cleaner, and the energy you have for the work that matters gets noticeably larger. The fourth thing is the practical reality of making the shift. Because all the framing in the world doesn't matter if you can't actually execute it. And the execution is uncomfortable for the first weeks before it becomes natural. The discomfort is real. It is also short. And what comes after the discomfort is a different relationship with your work than anything the free-giving version of you could have built. You see, the shift from free giver to value charger involves saying things that are going to feel rude at first. Things like, I'd love to help. Let me send you my consulting rates. Or, that's the kind of question I usually charge for, but happy to set up a paid session. Or that conversation is going to require an hour of real prep. So let me put together a proposal. Each phrase, the first time you say it, is going to feel jarring. By the 10th time, it'll feel natural. The discomfort dissolves with repetition. Let me tell you about a woman I once knew. She was in her mid-30s when I met her, a marketing consultant, genuinely talented. She had built a small business that produced decent income, but nowhere near what her skills warranted. She was respected. She was well-liked. She also wasn't making the money her expertise should have generated. And the reason wasn't hard to find once we looked at it together. She was operating what amounted to a free clinic. Friends asked her marketing questions over coffee. She answered them in detail. Acquaintances asked for quick advice. She gave it. Potential clients booked free initial consultations that ran 90 minutes and contained the core of what they actually needed. Every single day, by the time the conversation about paid work came up, the person had already gotten most of the value, and the paid engagement looked like an unnecessary expense. A mentor of hers had pointed this out a year before I met her. He had said, "You are running a free clinic that is eating your career. Everybody knows they can get your expertise without paying. So nobody books the paid version. They just ask you a question at brunch. and get an answer worth several $100s in actual consulting time. She had resisted hearing it at first. The free giving felt like generosity, like building goodwill, like being a good person in her industry. The mentor had said, "Those are the stories you tell yourself." The actual outcome is that you're broke, and people who are objectively less skilled than you are, doing much better, because they figured out something you haven't. She made the shift, slowly at first. The next time somebody asked for a quick 5 minutes of advice, she said, "I'd love to help, but that's something I charge for. Let me send you my rates." The asker was surprised. They didn't book. She felt awful for a few hours. Then she realized the asker had never been going to pay her anyway. The free advice, given again, would have produced nothing. A few weeks later, somebody else asked. She gave the same response. This person booked a session, paid the rate, actually implemented what she suggested, came back for more. The pattern repeated. Some people asked to pay, faded away. Some people asked to pay, paid. The paying clients were dramatically better than the non-paying ones in every way. They implemented her advice. They got results. They referred other paying clients. Within 6 months, her client base had completely changed in character. Within a year, her income had tripled. The work was the same. The skills were the same. The hours were similar. The shift was simply that she had stopped giving away what she should have been charging for. The mentor had been right. The free clinic had been eating her career. Closing the free clinic produced the career she had been failing to build for years. The discomfort she had felt in those first weeks turned out to be the briefest part of the whole journey. The benefits stretched out indefinitely after. You can have the same shift. The first weeks will be uncomfortable. The years that follow will be different in a way you can barely imagine right now. The fifth thing is a reframe about how to set prices, because most people who start charging do it badly. They set their prices too low because they are still operating from the old paradigm of, I should be lucky. People want to pay me at all. The right paradigm produces different numbers and a different relationship with what you charge. You see, most people, when they think about pricing, ask the wrong question. They ask, what is this worth in the market? What are other people charging? What's the going rate? And they set their price somewhere in the middle of what they imagine other people charge, hoping that's reasonable enough that people will pay. Here's the truth. The right question is different. The right question is, what does it cost me to give this away? What time goes into it? What energy? What years of prior preparation? What other opportunities am I forgoing while I'm delivering this? When you account for all of that, the price you need to charge in order for the exchange to actually be fair is usually much higher than the going rate you are going to set. The going rate is usually wrong. It was set by other people who are also undervaluing themselves in a market dynamic where everybody undercut each other to win work. The going rate floor is artificially low, and operating within it locks you into the same undervaluation that everybody else in the market is locked into. You must price based on your actual costs and your actual value, not based on the going rate. This will feel scary. Every single day, the first weeks, you'll feel like you're charging too much. You'll feel like nobody will pay. Some people won't pay. The ones who do will be the right clients. And the ones who don't, we're never going to support a sustainable version of your work anyway. But here's what happens when you price properly. You stop needing to take on every client to make ends meet. You can be selective. You can focus on the work and the clients that actually fit you. The work gets better. The clients get better. the income gets better. The whole system upgrades because the price floor was raised to a level that reflects reality. The pricing reframe also changes how you feel about the work. When you charge what your work actually costs you to produce, you respect the work. You take the engagement seriously. You deliver at a level the price demands. The clients respond by valuing the work more. The cycle reinforces itself. The work and the price both elevate. Underpriced work, by contrast, becomes a chore. You take too much of it. You burn out. You start to resent the clients. The work quality drops. The cycle goes the other way. The underpricing was the root. The proper pricing was always available. You just had to be willing to ask the right question and trust the answer. So here is the inversion you must make. Stop giving away what has actual market value. Stop running the childhood program of good people give for free. Stop telling yourself that charging is selfish. Stop letting your expertise leak out into the world in casual conversations. Free initial consultations and quick favors that have been quietly draining your income, your respect, and your sense of self-worth for years. You got to start charging, starting this week. With the first situation that arises, where somebody asks for what you usually give away for free. The next time it happens, you say, "I'd love to help with that. Let me send you my rates." You watch what they do. Some will fade, some will pay. Both are useful information. The ones who pay are your new clients. The ones who fade were never going to support you anyway. You cannot avoid the first few uncomfortable times. They will feel terrible. You'll feel rude. You'll feel like you're betraying who you are. You're not. You're being who you are instead of who you were programmed to be. The discomfort is the cost of the upgrade. Pay it for a few weeks. The discomfort will fade. Once the basic shift is made, you start refining. You have to set your actual rates based on what it costs you to deliver, not based on the imagined going rate. You install a default response for incoming asks, so you don't have to think it through fresh each time. You audit your existing relationships, separating the people who pay or could pay from the people who have been getting your value for free. You shift your time toward the paying side, and you defend the shift. People will push back. They will assume you're still the free giver they used to know. They will ask for favors. They will try to engage you in long conversations that contain the core of paid work. You decline, politely, firmly. You point them toward your paid offerings. You cannot apologize for charging for what is, in fact, charge-worthy work. Within a year of running this practice consistently, your work life will look different. Your income will be different. Your client base will be different. Your sense of self-worth will be different. And the people who used to take in your expertise for free will either have started paying for it or quietly moved on to lean on somebody else's free expertise. Either outcome is fine. The transition is the work. The new equilibrium is much better than the old one ever was. Listen, so here's what I want you to carry with you. There is a category of value in your life that you have been giving away for years, that you should have been charging for. The free giving has felt generous. It has actually been costing you income, respect, and self-worth. And the fix is to start charging, not for everything, not aggressively, but for the things you have been giving away that actually have market value. You got to start with one sentence. The next time somebody asks for what you would have given for free, you say, "I'd love to help with that. Let me send you my rates." That single sentence breaks the pattern. The asker either pays or fades. Either is useful. you have begun. I'm telling you, this is one of the most underrated upgrades available to capable adults. Most people never make it. They keep running the childhood program of free giving year after year, watching less skilled people earn more than they do, telling themselves it's because the world is unfair. The world isn't unfair. You cannot opt out of how the world works. The world rewards people who charge for what they offer. The less skilled people are out earning you because they figured out the basic move you have been refusing to make. You can make the move this week. With the first ask that comes in, try it once, watch what happens. The discomfort will be real. The result, when somebody actually pays, will also be real. And once you've experienced the second outcome, the discomfort of the first starts to feel like a small price for a much larger benefit. You must run the new pattern for a year. Watch your income, watch your client base, watch your sense of professional identity. All three will change. None of them will go back. The version of you that learned to charge is permanently different from the version that gave it all away. You can become that version starting this week with one sentence, with one ask, handled differently than you would have handled it last year. The new version of you is one conversation away. And the years that follow, lived as the charging version of you instead of the giving version, become the years that finally produce the financial and professional reality your skills always could have produced if you had been willing to ask for what they were worth. Ask for what they were worth. Starting this week, with the first situation that arises, with one clean sentence. Watch what happens. The shift you've been postponing for years is one conversation away. You have to start with that one. Every single day after this is another opportunity to charge for what you've been giving away. Take it. The compounding starts the moment you take the first one. The version of you who charges by year 3 is a person you would not recognize from where you stand right now. Question. They ask, what is this worth in the market? What are other people charging? What's the going rate? And they set their price somewhere in the middle of what they imagine other people charge, hoping that's reasonable enough that people will pay. Here's the truth. The right question is different. The right question is, what does it cost me to give this away? What time goes into it? What energy? What years of prior preparation? What other opportunities am I forgoing while I'm delivering this? When you account for all of that, the price you need to charge in order for the exchange to actually be fair is usually much higher than the going rate you were going to set. The going rate is usually wrong. It was set by other people who are also undervaluing themselves in a market dynamic where everybody undercut each other to win work. The going rate floor is artificially low. And operating within it locks you into the same undervaluation that everybody else in the market is locked into. You must price based on your actual costs and your actual value, not based on the going rate. This will feel scary. Every single day, the first weeks, you'll feel like you're charging too much. You'll feel like nobody will pay. Some people won't pay. The ones who do will be the right clients. And the ones who don't, we're never going to support a sustainable version of your work anyway. But here's what happens when you price properly. You stop needing to take on every client to make ends meet. You can be selective. You can focus on the work and the clients that actually fit you. The work gets better. The clients get better. The income gets better. The whole system upgrades because the price floor was raised to a level that reflects reality. The pricing reframe also changes how you feel about the work. When you charge what your work actually costs you to produce, you respect the work. You take the engagement seriously. You deliver at a level the price demands. The clients respond by valuing the work more. The cycle reinforces itself. The work and the price both elevate. Underpriced work, by contrast, becomes a chore. You take too much of it. You burn out. You start to resent the clients. The work quality drops. The cycle goes the other way. The underpricing was the root. The proper pricing was always available. You just had to be willing to ask the right question and trust the answer. So here is the inversion you must make. Stop giving away what has actual market value. Stop running the childhood program of good people give for free. Stop telling yourself that charging is selfish. Stop letting your expertise leak out into the world in casual conversations, free initial consultations, and quick favors that have been quietly draining your income, your respect, and your sense of self-worth for years. You got to start charging, starting this week. With the first situation that arises, where somebody asks for what you usually give away for free. The next time it happens, you say, "I'd love to help with that. Let me send you my rates." You watch what they do. Some will fade, some will pay. Both are useful information. The ones who pay are your new clients. The ones who fade were never going to support you anyway. You cannot avoid the first few uncomfortable times. They will feel terrible. You'll feel rude. You'll feel like you're betraying who you are. You're not. You're being who you are instead of who you were programmed to be. The discomfort is the cost of the upgrade. Pay it for a few weeks. The discomfort will fade. Once the basic shift is made, you start refining. You have to set your actual rates based on what it costs you to deliver, not based on the imagined going rate. You install a default response for incoming asks, so you don't have to think it through fresh each time. You audit your existing relationships, separating the people who pay or could pay from the people who have been getting your value for free. You shift your time toward the paying side, and you defend the shift. People will push back. They will assume you're still the free giver they used to know. They will ask for favors. They will try to engage you in long conversations that contain the core of paid work. You decline, politely, firmly. You point them toward your paid offerings. You cannot apologize for charging for what is, in fact, charge-worthy work. Within a year of running this practice consistently, your work life will look different. Your income will be different. Your client base will be different. Your sense of self-worth will be different. And the people who used to take in your expertise for free will either have started paying for it or quietly moved on to lean on somebody else's free expertise. Either outcome is fine. The transition is the work. The new equilibrium is much better than the old one ever was. Listen, so here's what I want you to carry with you. There is a category of value in your life that you have been giving away for years, that you should have been charging for. The free giving has felt generous. It has actually been costing you income, respect, and self-worth. And the fix is to start charging, not for everything, not aggressively, but for the things you have been giving away that actually have market value. You got to start with one sentence. The next time somebody asks for what you would have given for free, you say, "I'd love to help with that. Let me send you my rates." That single sentence breaks the pattern. The asker either pays or fades. Either is useful. You have begun. I'm telling you, This is one of the most underrated upgrades available to capable adults. Most people never make it. They keep running the childhood program of free giving year after year, watching less skilled people earn more than they do, telling themselves it's because the world is unfair. The world isn't unfair. You cannot opt out of how the world works. The world rewards people who charge for what they offer. The less skilled people are out earning you because they figured out the basic move you have been refusing to make. You can make the move this week. With the first ask that comes in, try it once, watch what happens. The discomfort will be real. The result, when somebody actually pays, will also be real. And once you've experienced the second outcome, the discomfort of the first starts to feel like a small price for a much larger benefit. You must run the new pattern for a year. Watch your income, watch your client base, watch your sense of professional identity. All three will change. None of them will go back. The version of you that learned to charge is permanently different from the version that gave it all away. You can become that version starting this week with one sentence, with one ask, handled differently than you would have handled it last year. The new version of you is one conversation away. And the years that follow, lived as the charging version of you instead of the giving version, become the years that finally produce the financial and professional reality your skills always could have produced if you had been willing to ask for what they were worth. Ask for what they were worth. Starting this week, with the first situation that arises, with one clean sentence. Watch what happens. The shift you've been postponing for years is one conversation away. You have to start with that one. Every single day after this is another opportunity to charge for what you've been giving away. Take it. The compounding starts the moment you take the first one. The version of you who charges by year 3 is a person you would not recognize from where you stand right now.
I begin each day with discipline, clear purpose, integrity, and gratitude. I focus only on what I can influence, and I take deliberate action daily. I reflect, journal, and learn from each day so I improve tomorrow. I learn and teach every day, sharpening my judgment and understanding. I show up intentionally as a husband, a father, a son, and a brother. I take responsibility for the impact of my decisions on others. I train my body daily with discipline and respect for long-term health. I am becoming a capable managing director who understands business. I am building long-term financial stability through competence and integrity. I act with gratitude, humility, and a commitment to give back. I am becoming becoming someone who does high-intensity interval training every single week. I take time to recognize what I am grateful for every day. I visualize success every day so I know what I'm moving towards. I begin each day with discipline, clear purpose, integrity, and gratitude. I focus only on what I can influence, and I take deliberate action daily. I reflect, journal, and learn from each day so I improve tomorrow. I learn and teach every day, sharpening my judgment and understanding. I show up intentionally as a husband, a father, a son, and a brother. I take responsibility for the impact of my decisions on others. I train my body daily with discipline and respect for long-term health. I am becoming a capable managing director who understands business. I am building long-term financial stability through competence and integrity. I act with gratitude, humility, and a commitment to give back. I am becoming someone who does high-intensity interval training every single week. I take time to recognize what I am grateful for every day. I visualize success every day so I know what I'm moving towards. I begin each day with discipline, clear purpose, integrity, and gratitude. I focus only on what I can influence, and I take deliberate action daily. I reflect, journal, and learn from each day so I improve tomorrow. I learn and teach every day, sharpening my judgment and understanding. I show up intentionally as a husband, a father, a son, and a brother. I take responsibility for the impact of my decisions on others. I train my body daily with discipline and respect for long-term health. I am becoming a capable managing director who understands business. I am building long-term financial stability through competence and integrity. I act with gratitude, humility, and a commitment to give back. I am becoming someone who does high-intensity interval training every single week. I take time to recognize what I am grateful for every day. I visualize success every day so I know what I'm moving towards. I begin each day with discipline, clear purpose, integrity, and gratitude. I focus only on what I can influence, and I take deliberate action daily. I reflect, journal, and learn from each day so I improve tomorrow. I learn and teach every day, sharpening my judgment and understanding. I show up intentionally as a husband, a father, a son, and a brother. I take responsibility for the impact of my decisions on others. I train my body daily with discipline and respect for long-term health. I am becoming a capable managing director who understands business. I am building long-term financial stability through competence and integrity. I act with gratitude, humility, and a commitment to give back. I am becoming someone who does high-intensity interval training every single week. I take time to recognize what I am grateful for every day. I visualize success every day so I know what I'm moving towards. I begin each day with discipline, clear purpose, integrity, and gratitude. I focus only on what I can influence, and I take deliberate action daily. I reflect, journal, and learn from each day so I improve tomorrow. I learn and teach every day, sharpening my judgment and understanding. I show up intentionally as a husband, a father, a son, and a brother. I take responsibility for the impact of my decisions on others. I train my body daily with discipline and respect for long-term health.
Day 170.